Football, the beautiful game, captivates billions of fans across the globe with its drama, passion, and sheer athleticism. It's a sport that makes people happy and connects them from all walks of life, from exhilarating last-minute goals to the victory of underdog teams. But underneath the glitz of sold-out stadiums, lucrative contracts, and elite athletes, there's a dark side that not everyone's willing to face. Football has more dark secrets than most fans could ever realize, ranging from unseen practices that compromise the sport's integrity to scandals that have shook the game. A vast deal of football's most memorable moments have been marred by scandals, unethical actions, and corruption, all of which continue to cloud the sport. Match fixing, illicit transfers, widespread racism, and substance misuse are problems that impact players as well as fans in this sport. The perfect image that is frequently presented on television is not an accurate representation of reality, as many of football's dark truths are carefully concealed to preserve careers and reputations. Even if we adore the game, it's important to recognize that football is more than simply a game. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry where integrity and sportsmanship can occasionally be eclipsed by power, money, and influence. These somber realities make us wonder just how much we actually know about the game we love so much. 1. Scandals of match fixing. Corruption behind the scenes. There have been several match-fixing scandals in football history, some of which have completely upended the game. One of the most well-known incidents was during the Calciopoli scandal in Italy in 2006, when it was shown that elite Italian teams, including as Juventus, AC Milan, and Fiorentina, had tampered with match results and referees. As a result, Juventus lost 2 league titles and was dropped to Serie B. Similar scandals have surfaced in lower levels in Europe and Asia more recently, and they have resulted in player, official, and even team bans and legal actions. The fairness of the sport is threatened by match fixing, which persists despite efforts to stop it. 2. Football doping. A secret world of enhanced performance. Although doping scandals are more frequently linked to sports like athletics or cycling, football has a history of using performance-enhancing drugs. Players have been observed utilizing drugs to increase their power, stamina, or recuperation time, though this practice is frequently kept under wraps. Diego Maradona, who tested positive for the prohibited stimulant ephedrine during the 1994 World Cup, is one of the most well-known doping instances. Beyond isolated incidents, there have been rumors of systematic doping schemes within clubs, especially in Spain and Italy throughout the early 2000s. Although FIFA and UEFA, the authorities that oversee football, have intensified their efforts to combat doping, there are others who think that the public is misinformed about the prevalence of performance-enhancing drug usage, as only the most prominent cases are brought to light. 3. Football, especially those from South America and Africa, is a more sinister and little-discussed problem. 4. Football's persistent problem with racism and discrimination. Even with initiatives to address it, racism in football is still a major problem. Racism still plagues sports, from athletes hearing racial taunts and insults from spectators to unfair treatment by teammates and club authorities. High-profile events involving racial abuse of black footballers have been common in Europe in recent years. Romelu Lukaku, Raheem Sterling, and Mario Balotelli are just a few athletes who have spoken out about racism they have encountered both on and off the field. Critics contend that while initiatives like UEFA's No to Racism campaign have increased awareness, not enough is being done by football's governing bodies to penalize clubs, supporters, or players who participate in such behavior with more severe consequences. Football still struggles to completely address a deeper social issue, which is indicated by the prevalence of racism in the game. 5. Violations of financial fair play, the money behind the game. Although football is frequently referred to as the beautiful game, it is also a business, with huge sums of money changing hands between clubs, agencies, and broadcasting agreements. Financial fair play (FFP) rules were implemented by UEFA in an attempt to level the playing field by discouraging teams from overspending. Nevertheless, a lot of elite teams have managed to get around these regulations, frequently receiving little more than a slap on the wrist as punishment. Both Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain PSG are under investigation for allegedly inflating sponsorship deals in order to abide by financial laws, a violation of FFP standards. Although both clubs were fined and banned from European competitions, there have been doubts about the efficacy of FFP. According to critics, affluent owners and clubs have the ability to manipulate regulations by their financial clout and influence, resulting in an unequal playing field and widening the divide between affluent and poor clubs. 6. Child abuse reports, the shadowy side of football's hierarchies. Unsettling claims of emotional and sexual abuse in football academies and youth teams have surfaced in recent years. Powerful coaches and administrators have been accused of taking advantage of underage players, which has resulted in judicial investigations and the fall of well-known personalities in the sport. Former football coach Barry Bennell was found guilty on several charges of sexually abusing children in the UK, and numerous victims came forward to disclose the anguish they endured at his hands. Similar incidents have surfaced in South America, the United States, and other regions of Europe, bringing attention to the less positive sides of football training regimens. These incidents highlight how susceptible young athletes are to abuse and how frequently they remain silent out of concern for their professional futures. Increased scrutinies of clubs' handling of claims and a drive for more robust safeguards in youth football have resulted from the findings. 7. The pressures of professional football on player welfare and mental health. Despite the perception that football players have glamorous lives, the demands of the game can have a serious negative impact on their mental health. Anxiety, sadness, and other mental health problems can be brought on by the pressures of intense competition, media attention, and the dread of getting hurt or failing. Players that have openly shared their difficulties with mental health, such as Andres Iniesta, Aaron Lennon, and Danny Rose, have contributed to destigmatizing the conversation within the sport. But because toughness and resiliency are valued so highly in football, it might be challenging for athletes to ask for assistance. Although many contend that more work needs to be done to guarantee that athletes receive the care they require, clubs are beginning to see the value of mental health support. Away from the field, former players frequently struggle with life after football, whether it is with money problems, identity loss, or even addiction. Football players' mental health is still a mostly taboo subject that needs more attention and funding to be properly addressed. In conclusion, there is a darker side to football that is sometimes ignored or concealed beneath the surface despite the sport's excitement and magical moments. The sport has its share of dark secrets that cast doubt on the fairness of the competition. From match-fixing scandals and the atrocities of human trafficking to widespread prescription drug misuse and the unsettling realities of racism. These problems impact not only the athletes on the field, but also the reputation of the sport in general, the clubs, and the spectators. It's simple for us as supporters to lose ourselves in the drama of a game and forget that football players frequently deal with extreme pressure and corruption. Football's darker underbelly serves as a sobering reminder that social issues may affect even the most cherished sports. Although these issues have been addressed, much more work has to be done to safeguard the integrity of the game and the individuals who contribute greatly to its excellence. Football can only go on evolving and becoming the most popular sport in the world if it is transparent, accountable, and prioritizes player welfare. It's time for the football community to address these problems head-on in order to create a better, more moral future. Let us know in the comments what you think about the darkest secrets in football, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more captivating content on our YouTube channel.